Bless you. Bless you there. Bless you. Welcome, guys. How you doing? Hamburger Podcast, Tuesday. Just guys standing here in front of a brick wall. Okay, anyway, I know. I'm proud of my goddamn backdrop, okay? For the least professional podcast in history. I got a fucking backdrop finally, so I'm kind of proud of that. So for those of you on iTunes, again, welcome. iHeart, SoundCloud, all those things. You can't see it. For Facebook Live, check me out. You can see the background. And YouTube Live, you can see the background. It's kind of, kind of exciting. I'm proud of me. Anyhow, okay, that said, I'd like to talk about a couple things here. Okay, so, I don't know, we're on day 9,000,007 of this fucking coronavirus thing. My question is, why, okay, so they keep going to the minority thing, like, oh, okay, well, African Americans are, getting it at this percentage per capita. Now they're doing that the Navajo Nation has been hit worse with infections than New York. They're not mentioning that 100 people have died that were old, really old, died the whole time. 100 people. A couple thousand are infected always, every season. And 100 or so or 200 die every season in the Navajo Nation. I like saying Navajo because it pisses Navajo Nation. And the point I'm saying is, no, I don't want to see any Navajo people die. I actually dig. I lived in Arizona. The Navajo people are pretty fucking amazing. The stuff they had going, the cities, and it's really fucking cool. Okay, so I don't want to see anyone die. I don't want to see any of them die. But really, they're talking about, the Navajo Nation has more COVID than New York per capita. Yes, because New York has more people in Brooklyn than the Navajo Nation. New York has more people on the subway during COVID than the Navajo Nation. It's a ridiculous comparison. They're a small nation, and so someone brought in the fucking virus or whatever. I'm assuming cowboys brought it to him. Hey, John, how you doing, man? I'm assuming the cowboys brought it to him on blankets or whatever again. And so they fucking got the virus. It's running around. They're very strong people immunity-wise. They're very healthy, strong people. So it's not going to be killing them off like gangbusters. I've been good, thank you. It's not going to be killing them off like gangbusters. You know, John, you're in. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. John's in Australia, and that's the other thing. The Aborigines people, they're not dying at high rates. In Australia, the Aborigines weren't dying off because they're naturally healthy. They have natural immune systems and things like that to fight these things. So my favorite one was this. Latino people are 39% of the population in Los Angeles, but make up 53% of the COVID. Let's stop for a second. Okay, so if they're 39% of the population in Los Angeles, and African American are about 15%, and Asian are about 10 to 12%, and Arabic are about whatever, like 10%, 15%, things like that, right? We start breaking it down. And then we realize that white people in Los Angeles are about 20-something%. Latin people should make up 53% of the COVID. They're more than 53% of the people per se, meaning there's more Latin people in LA than there are white people. There's more Latin people in LA than there are black people. So they're a larger percentage in LA, so they make up a larger percentage, yeah. But they're trying to make this a battle. They're trying to separate people again. See, they want the poor people to be like, fuck you, rich people, for going outside and killing us because you don't care, because we're all dying. 1 million people a day, 1 million poor people are burning. You know, yeah, well, they're on lockdown. No, yeah, well, what did you guys do? Seriously. Like, what, did you just close the bottom door and now they can't get over? I'm kidding. They're tiny people, though. But yeah, I mean, they're on full lockdown. But the fact is, the point I'm making is like they are, but are they? And on top of which, meaning like the ones in the jungle, the ones running around, the ones not right there, not right in the midst of it. They're not, and they're not dying. And that's kind of the weird thing. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're doing. Like, oh my God, guys, poor, like African black people are dying, Latin people are dying so much, man. So many of them, just endlessly, every day, just millions of them, like the Holocaust, are just dying of COVID. And it turns out we're talking about a couple hundred people. Again, super sad. Don't dig it. Hate any death. Wish we were all immortal. Wish we'd all be immortal and not reproduce and just live forever lives, having the best time. Pretty. That's not how it is. So the point being is, let's stop with the lies. Let's stop with the bullshit, okay? Let's maybe stop with the, whole thing. And the whole thing is based, really, when you start thinking about it, it's heavily based on segregation. Meaning they're trying to segregate people so you have poor Latin, black, and Asian, things like that. You have them because, see, the poor whites, they don't tend to go toward Trump. So they're like, okay, fuck them. They can go with just the whites in general, boom, right? Because they don't get it either. Poor whites don't get it. It totally skips them. If a poor white person gets it, they sneeze and give it to 7 different minorities because that's how they are, And so they got people, they wanted to make people hate each other because what scared the fuck out of them is when these protests happened, you had Confederate flags and rainbow flags. And you had some people with a Confederate and a rainbow flag. And they're saying, I want my freedom and I love mancock or woman VG, and I love clamming or slamming or whatever we want to call it. But they want their freedom, you see. And that scared the fuck out of the Democrats in the sense of, okay, wait a second. These people are coming together. If these people come together, we're fucking dead. Now, Pelosi, everybody's hiding because a bunch of them did a bunch of insider trading, and they're all going to get fucking nothing for it or nailed. It's all left to see. Again, it's all a game, and the winners win and the losers lose, and we don't matter. We're just extras in the whole fucking game. And some of us get a taste of a little of the fun, and most of us don't. And that's just the way it is, you know? That's just the motherfucking way it is. So share the podcast if you don't mind. I always appreciate that. For the one or two of you ever fucking check me out. The rest of you, I love you to death, and I don't hope you fucking die of the clap. I'm going to tell you something, a quote I came up with, because we always hear about the do unto others. Are you okay here? It's okay. Are you okay? No, you just worried me. Just want to make sure you're okay. You need some water? Get some water, baby. She's trying to be all quiet. I don't think I'm being too bad tonight. I'm trying to really control it because she has to lay out her not feeling well. Not COVID or anything, nothing like that. No, not a cold or anything. She's just stomach ache, tummy ache, Anyhow, the deal is simply that. I mean, let's keep it kind of real. We're all just being locked up in a sense. I mean, the numbers aren't adding up. They're not even close. They keep saying things that make no sense. You know, Navajo Nation, more COVID cases than New York. It's a ridiculous comparison. A ridiculous comparison. Navajo Nation has no more deaths and no more real cases. They might have a few more real cases, but they have no more deaths than normal. Then in 2017, I looked it up. There was 120 deaths in 2017. There's 100 right now. I mean, season's over. It just, I don't know, man. I mean, how do we wake up from this? How do we fight back? How do we get strong? How do people listen when I have 2 fucking viewers? No, how do people listen? How do we get better? How do we learn? How do we change? Are we going to come out of this? Because we seem like we're coming right out of this back into the same crap we were always doing. We seem like we're coming out of this and going to do the same exact bullshit, like me wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row. That's what we're doing, is basically we went in, we're coming out, we're doing the same crap. We're going right back to every miserable thing that's been ruining the earth. The earth had a chance to breathe, and it was beautiful, and now we're going to suffocate it again. Instead of realizing maybe we don't need to go everywhere, like take a car every single place. Maybe we don't need to have a Hummer. Maybe all these things aren't so necessary. Maybe we don't have to destroy everything. We don't have to build on everything. And maybe there is some middle grounds to preserving earth and being cautious, but having freedoms and having things, you know. And maybe we can be a little more conservative to earth. Maybe we could be a lot less corporate. You know, I mean, maybe that's a big thing, is that we don't have the corporate. If we don't allow for the corporations, then we don't have Bill Gateses. If we don't have the Bill Gateses, we're kind of better off. I mean, let's keep that real. If we stop allowing people to have so much power. I understand capitalism, but this isn't capitalism. This is people capitalizing. Shut up, Jack. Go fuck your dad. Jesus Christ, for somebody who's in love with a fucking bulldog, you know. Anyway, I like Jack though, because he actually goes out there and protests. So at least you got balls, and I dig that. I did go to the beach, by the way, asshole. I went to the beach again, fucking, and sent a video out, asshole. Just so you know. Anyway, but like I said, I like Jack. He fucking goes out and protests, and that's what you're supposed to do if you don't believe in it. And if you believe in it, you're supposed to stay inside and be safe. The people who went out to protest, the protesters, are idiots, because you went outside. You made everyone unsafe so you could tell them that they're making everyone unsafe. You make no sense. None of it makes any fucking sense. This is what I'm saying, though, Jack. You guys don't make any sense to me. Fucking the Bernies don't make any sense to me. The Clintons don't make any sense to me. None of all you motherfuckers make any real sense to me, because you guys are what is best for you only. That's the one thing I can say, is Trump is an egotistical, cares about himself piece of shit. But he does care about how this country does. I don't know that he cares about us as people. He cares how the country, the economy does. He cares how we see him as a whole. He cares how we view him as a whole. He wants to be popular. He wants to be loved. I will take somebody who wants to be popular, wants to be loved, wants to make a difference, wants to truly leave a mark in the world for the people. Not, he's done his empires. He's built his empires and things. He wants to leave a mark, a human mark in the world, and to kind of dig in. If you don't get that, maybe you're right and I'm wrong. Maybe, but that's the thing is, again, I don't like most Republicans. I don't like the Democrats. I like Trump though. And if you can't look at him and say this motherfucker shoots from the hip, yeah, I don't agree with some of the shit he says, but I can't agree with, I don't agree with most of the shit most of you say. Most of the shit most of you say is fucking ridiculous. Most of the shit most of you say is so biased and so only for you and only about what you want, what you care about. And you're never able to remove yourself to put yourself in the position to be able to view this shit from a better perspective, in the sense of being able to be a little more biased in how you view things. See, it's like I've never had a problem understanding that that's ridiculous for somebody not to have rights based on their race, religion, gender, sexuality. It just makes no sense. How can I say I deserve rights, they don't? But if it makes sense to you that you do deserve rights and they don't, fucking moron. You see, if you think you deserve the right to get married, but two men or two women don't, you're a fucking moron. Because you think you deserve something someone else doesn't. You think you deserve more than someone else. You're a Kardashian in this world. You're relevant, but you're irrelevant because the world listens to you. Anyway, guys, listen. Some of you have been fun. Some of you have been like a case of herpes. Some of you, I wish I had herpes just to give it to you. I love some of you, and some of you are who you are.